the third great. We farewell in 2022, and you last saw him at Warnie's funeral.
Yeah. I was just saying to Charles next door in the Today Show studio that it's been a terrible time for cricket over the last few months. And as I said a moment ago, unfortunately, my late father's been proven correct. He always said that bad things happen in threes. Now Rod Marsh only 2.5 months ago, Warnie 2 months ago, and now Simo. Yeah, it's been a really tough time for cricket, and particularly when you look at particularly Warnie and Roy, two guys with a lot of life left in them. Roy only 46, he's about a month away from his 47th birthday, and a guy who loved life, as Connie suggested, loved the way he played the game. He wasn't an attacking, aggressive cricketer, but away from the game also loved life. He loved adventure. He loved fishing. He loved camping. He loved the outdoors. He did a bit of farming. I don't know if he was still running some cattle out of Townsville, but he certainly was when I took him fishing about 5 or 6 years ago. So he's one of those guys who just actually loved life. So, yeah, a real loss for, obviously for his family, but also for the cricket community.
I was going to say, you mentioned he loved his fishing. Tell us about that fishing trip, because you have really fond memories of it.
I do. It's probably one of the fondest memories I had. Back when Channel 9 still had the cricket, I was asked to do a little segment on the cricket show around fishing, because I love my fishing, love going out to Sydney Harbour here. So I got hold of Roy. We went out to Sydney Harbour in my little tinny, took a camera crew with us, and we did a bit of fly fishing, which is not an easy skill to learn, and I'm certainly a very, very amateur one. But Simo, very good. Very talented, and he would get out there with this fly rod in the middle of Sydney Harbour, blowing a bit, casting fly rod round boats, and I was in awe just watching him, and he's catching kingfish off boats, and so it was one of my great memories with Simo. I was once again away from the game of cricket, but an area he loved it, and he would have stayed out all day. I was actually the one to say, we've got to go back and catch this. He wanted to stay out there, yeah.
And that's why Australians loved him, because he was so relatable. He wasn't just a sports star. He was the knockabout bloke. You could have a beer with him at the pub, go fishing.
Yeah, and as Connie sort of alluded to, that was probably one of his the things that got him in a little bit of trouble. He did like a beer after the game. And in an era where things were getting more and more professional, social media was certainly playing its part. Yeah, he talked about the Monkey Gate issue with Harbhajan Singh back in 2007, I think it was. All these things impacted on Simo's career when really he was a guy who just loved the simple things in life. Very athletic, as you can see from that throw there. Terrific field. As I said earlier, could have played rugby league, I believe, as a young kid. Very strong and fit and agile sort of guy. And cricket was lucky that we got him, and we saw what he could do.
Well,
particularly,
Australia was lucky they got him. Remember, I think it was AB had to go over and convince him not to play for England.
Yeah, because he was born in Birmingham, I think.
Yes, he was.
Yeah, born in Birmingham. So, yeah, fortunately he came and played for Queensland. I actually played a couple of games against Simo. He came onto the scene just at the end of my career. I remember playing against him at North Sydney Oval when he played for Queensland. So, yeah, I played against him a couple of times, never with him. But as a commentator, he was one of those guys you'd love to commentate on because something was always happening, whether it was ball in hand, bat in hand or in the field.
We saw Malcolm Conn comment on his favourite moments of Roy's career. What do you feel are the defining moments?
He touched on that one, the MCG. I think that's the one that people will remember the most, where he hit the 6 to bring up his 100 with his great mate Matty Hayden at the other end, and he jumped on Haydos and just about smothered him, and Haydos' helmet ended up down over his nose, and that'll be the one that people remember the most. I think the other one was in South Africa, where he made 142 or 3, I think it was, against Pakistan in a World Cup game. We were 4 for about 50.
And I think in game, I think it was.
Yeah, and Ricky Ponting said to me, mate, you know, in a way, it's time you took the reins here. It's time you grew up as a one-day cricketer. You've got to be here at the end. And he was. 140-odd net out. Australia won that game, went on to win the World Cup.
He totally changed the game when 2020 emerged and was hot property in the IPL. One of the first players to get the big bucks.
The big $1 million, yeah. And for Simo, that'd be more money that he could spend.
That's a lot of fishing rods, isn't it?
You can't buy that much fishing gear. But that's what I think we love. I think the public loved about Simo. Yes, I think he signed up a deal for $1.8 million right back at the start of the IPL. That's still big money today, but at the start of the IPL, that was the money. That was the top money. But Simo would have said, terrific, and that set me up for life. Now I can go and do my my camping, my fishing and my farming. And that's all he would have needed and all he would have loved in life.
He loved the simple life, no doubt. Warnie is waiting for him in heaven with a cold one.